Big news has now arrived on Gunners. You want to know all the details, so follow me until the end of the video. But first, if you are in love with Arsenal, show your love and subscribe to THE channel now and turn on notifications. Here we post daily news and behind the scenes of the biggest club in THE Premier League, Arsenal. Thank you.
Arsenal's forgotten transfer could be the key to Arteta's title charge. While the international break nears its end, Arsenal fans have more than just the return of club football to look forward to. There's a new name in the squad who might just make all the difference. Piero Hincapié, Arsenal's late summer signing, has flown under the radar since joining from Bayer Leverkusen on deadline day. But judging by his recent performance with Ecuador, he might turn out to be one of the most impactful signings of the season. With most of Arsenal's first-team stars away on international duty, Mikel Arteta has had a quiet training ground. Only a handful of players have stayed behind, recovering from injuries and preparing for the return of Premier League action. Among those yet to properly link up with the squad is Hincapié, who immediately jetted off to South America after signing. Despite the lack of fanfare, Hincapié has quietly been showing why Arsenal moved for him. In Ecuador's recent World Cup qualifier against Paraguay, a tough, hard-fought 0-0 draw, the 21-year-old defender put on a rock-solid display. Starting on the left side of a back three, he finished with the second-highest match rating in his team, 7.6, via FOTMOB, just behind the goalkeeper. Calm under pressure, physically imposing, and with excellent positional awareness, he played a key role in shutting down the opposition's attack. What makes Hincapié even more exciting is his versatility. He's comfortable as a centre-back or left-back, has the pace to recover quickly, and isn't afraid to push forward. He's strong in duels, smart on the ball, and has the kind of forward-thinking passing range that could perfectly complement players like Victor Gyökeres in Arsenal's attacking transitions. Ecuador's next challenge is a tough one. They face Argentina this Wednesday night, UK time. But once that's done, Hincapié will fly back to London and could finally take part in his first training session with Arsenal on Friday. That leaves a narrow window ahead of Saturday's early kickoff against Nottingham Forest. It might be too soon for his debut, but the buzz around him is growing. If his performances for Ecuador are anything to go by, Arsenal may have quietly pulled off a masterstroke. Hincapié could become a key figure in Arteta's push for the title, a forgotten transfer that might just transform their season. Although Hincapié's arrival hasn't made major headlines in England, overshadowed by bigger names and flashier deals, those closely following his development know exactly what he brings to the table. Arsenal's decision to secure him on an initial loan, with a view to a permanent £45 million deal in 2026, wasn't a rushed panic buy. It was a calculated investment in a player who's already proven himself on the European stage with Bayer Leverkusen and now on the international level with Ecuador. What's even more compelling is the timing. With Arsenal dealing with a string of early season injuries, especially in defence, Hincapié could find himself thrust into the spotlight sooner than expected. Arteta has had to rely on a patched-together backline, and the return of a physically dominant, tactically astute defender could be exactly what the team needs to stabilise results and maintain momentum. There's already a quiet optimism around London Coney. Internally, staff are impressed by the reports coming from the Ecuador camp, not just about his performances, but about his attitude. Focused, disciplined, and eager to adapt, Hincapié is said to be determined to prove he belongs at the top level in English football. If he adapts quickly, he could offer a dynamic new dimension to Arteta's tactical setup. His ability to play as a left-sided centre-back in a back three or slide into the left-back role gives Arsenal more flexibility, something Arteta highly values as he continues to evolve the team's shape and playing style. His presence could allow Alexander Zinchenko to push further forward or rest during key fixtures, and even offer cover in systems where Gabriel or Saliba are rotated. The Premier League is, of course, a different beast. But Hincapié has already faced top-tier opposition in the Bundesliga and with his national team, and held his own. Facing Argentina this week, led by Lionel Messi and sitting comfortably atop the South American qualifying table, will be another huge test. But if he impresses again, the buzz around his name will only grow louder. Fans have already begun to notice. Social media chatter has picked up, with clips of his interceptions and line-breaking passes for Ecuador making the rounds on X, formerly Twitter, and Instagram. Some are even calling him the missing piece for Arteta's defence, high praise for a player yet to make his Arsenal debut. If everything clicks, the adaptation, the fitness, the chemistry, Piero Hincapié could be more than just a solid addition. He could be a game-changer in Arsenal's hunt for the Premier League title. Sometimes, the most impactful signings aren't the ones splashed across headlines, but the ones who quietly arrive, step up when needed most, and never look back. Opinion: A promising start for Arsenal. The toughest early tests are already behind us. The international break is in full swing, which means no club football this weekend. And maybe, that's not such a bad thing. It gives everyone a moment to breathe, to reset, and to gain some perspective. Arsenal's last game, that frustrating 1-0 loss away to Liverpool, is still fresh in the memory. A late free kick from Dominic Szoboszlai gave the Reds all 3 points, handing them a slight edge in the title race. For Arsenal, it felt like a stumble, but let's not lose sight of the bigger picture. Not as bad as it seems. If you only listened to the noise that followed the Liverpool defeat, you'd think Arsenal had completely fallen apart. Suddenly, the narrative became one of failure, that we weren't brave enough at Anfield, that the team lacked fight, that the title challenge was already slipping away. But is that really fair? When you look at the start of the season as a whole, it's been a solid one, not perfect, but certainly far from a disaster. We faced 2 of the toughest away fixtures in English football, Anfield and Old Trafford, and we've come through them. 1 loss, 1 win. That's not failure. That's progress. Early challenges now behind us. Let's be honest, no matter how chaotic Manchester United may seem, going to Old Trafford is never easy. Arsenal's record there in recent years has been poor, so coming away with a win this time felt like more than just 3 points. It was a statement. And while the loss to Liverpool stings, it's arguably better to get that fixture out of the way early. Last season, it was the 2-2 draw at Anfield late in the campaign that started the domino effect, a string of dropped points that ended in heartbreak at the Etihad. This time, we faced that challenge early, with months ahead to respond and rebuild momentum. Make no mistake, the match at Anfield could well be our toughest of the season. So let's not pretend that losing narrowly, thanks to a moment of brilliance, is a sign of collapse. Keep calm, it's too early to panic. Following the Liverpool match, some have accused Arsenal of playing too negatively, of lacking ambition. But the reality is, both teams struggled to create chances. The match was tense, tactical, and could have gone either way. It wasn't a failure of courage, it was a game of fine margins. And yet, the pressure on Mikel Arteta is already beginning to bubble. We've seen whispers of doubt among the fanbase, frustrations building over the team's lack of flair, and questions being asked about whether we've truly improved from last season. But let's take a step back. This team is still growing. Several new players are still integrating, the rhythm is still developing, and it's only September. Performances haven't always dazzled, that's true, but the structure is there. The discipline is there. The potential is there. Building for the long haul. It's easy to forget just how far Arsenal have come in the last few years. We're not just back in the title conversation. We're setting standards again. That comes with pressure, of course. But it also means we need patience, perspective, and belief. There are areas that need urgent attention, no doubt. Some tactical decisions can be questioned, and certain players need to step up. But calling for drastic changes or doubting Arteta after one tight loss in a high-stakes game, that's not the answer. The season is a marathon, not a sprint. And the truth is, if Arsenal can get through this tricky early stretch with a few bumps but a strong foundation, we'll be in a great place to push on when it really matters. So let's not let one result cloud what's actually been a pretty solid start. The real journey is only just beginning, and there's still everything to play for. The weight of expectation. Let's be real. Arsenal are no longer flying under the radar. After last season's thrilling title challenge, the expectations have changed, and with that comes a different kind of pressure. Every result, every performance, every tactical tweak is now dissected under the microscope. There's less patience, less tolerance for anything short of excellence, and that's both a blessing and a curse. The loss at Anfield didn't just sting because it was a loss, it hit harder because Arsenal fans now believe we belong at the very top. Competing with the likes of Liverpool and Manchester City isn't a dream anymore, it's the standard. And with that comes frustration when the team falls short, even if only by the finest of margins. But this is where perspective matters. Last season taught us that success isn't just about beating the big teams, it's about consistency, squad depth, and how you respond to setbacks. Injuries, depth, and the road ahead. And speaking of setbacks, Arsenal are dealing with more than just the psychological blow of a narrow defeat. Injuries are beginning to bite, with key players like William Saliba, Bukayo Saka, and Thomas Partey either sidelined or managing fitness issues. Saliba's injury, in particular, brings back uncomfortable memories of last season's collapse. When he went down in March, the defense never looked the same, and Arsenal's title hopes unravelled quickly. His absence now raises the same questions. Do we have enough depth? Can Arteta adapt? Can the team stay composed under pressure? The return of Leandro Trossard offers a glimmer of hope, as discussed earlier, and new signings like Declan Rice have already shown their value. But with Champions League fixtures looming and a packed winter schedule ahead, the real test will be managing the squad, not just tactically, but emotionally. Tactical criticism or misunderstood strategy. Some of the post-Liverpool criticism has centered around Arteta's approach. Too cautious, too reactive, too rigid. But was it really? There's a growing school of thought that Arsenal are evolving into a more pragmatic side, one that's less focused on flair and more focused on control, game management, and minimizing risk in big matches. It's not always pretty, but it's often necessary. In past seasons, we've been praised for beautiful, attacking football, only to be punished for naivety when it mattered most. Now, Arteta seems to be playing the long game. He knows the importance of staying in the race until the final stretch, and that sometimes means sacrificing style for substance, especially away from home against top-6 rivals. Still, fans want more. They want to see the fearlessness that defined last year's rise. The challenge for Arteta is striking that balance, keeping the solidity without losing the spark. What success looks like now. So what does success look like for Arsenal this season? That's the question dividing the fan base. For some, anything less than a title win will feel like a step back. For others, a deep Champions League run, another top-2 finish, and a cup trophy would mark clear progress. What's clear is that the margin for error has shrunk, and the team knows it. But football seasons aren't won or lost in September. They're shaped by how you navigate the rough patches, how you respond when the narrative turns against you, and how you stay united, as a team and as a fan base, when things don't go to plan. Final word, trust the process, but demand growth. We're still early in the campaign, and despite the noise, Arsenal are in a strong position. The toughest away days are behind us. The squad is slowly returning to full strength. The foundation is solid. Now comes the time to build on that, to find rhythm, rediscover creativity, and push through the next run of fixtures with confidence. It's okay to expect more, that's a sign of progress in itself. But let's not throw away the belief that brought us this far. Arteta has earned our trust, not blind loyalty, but faith in a process that's already taken us to the doorstep of greatness. The real story of this season is just beginning, and Arsenal still have everything to play for.